ASVAB Mechanical Comprehension Practice Test. A car merging onto the highway accelerates uniformly from 16 m/s to 28 m/s in 4.38 seconds. What is the acceleration of the car? 2.7 m/s/2. A race car with 1,400 kg mass is racing with a momentum of 77,000 kg m/s south down a straightaway. What is the velocity of the car? 55 m/s. The smaller gear has 8 teeth, and the larger gear has 16 teeth. When the larger gear makes 12 revolutions, how many revolutions will the smaller gear make? 24. If a 180 rpm synchronous motor and gear train rated for 60 Hz is run on 50 Hz, what speed will the output shaft have? 150 rpm. Which of the following is the basis for Pascal's law? The amplification of force in a hydraulic system. Two gears are in mesh. The first gear is rotating at 60 rpm and has 23 teeth. The second gear is rotating at 5 rpm. How many teeth does the second gear have? 276 teeth. A fish tank at an aquarium contains several cubic feet of water. 1 cubic foot of water equals 62.5 pounds. If the fish tank is 6 feet deep, 12 feet wide, and 13 feet long, what's the approximate pressure at the bottom of the tank in pounds per square inch? 2.5. Given two pieces of steel tubing, one 8 feet long, the other 6 feet long, both joined at one end at an angle of 90 degrees, how long would a third piece need to be to connect the two free ends? 10 feet. What type of simple machine is pictured above? Second-class lever. Choose the true statement. Jerk is the derivative of acceleration. How much force is needed to lift the 10 kilograms weight? 5 kilograms. 1 horsepower is equivalent to 746 watts. Which of the following describes the relationship between kinetic energy, mass, and velocity? 2, co equals mv2. How much work is performed lifting in order to lift a 50.0 kilograms block 7.00 meters? Use G equals 9.81 m/s/2. 3430 n*m. If a round from an AK-47 is fired straight up, 90 degrees from level, and wind to the northwest is blowing at 15 miles per hour, what will be the minimum speed of the round before it strikes the ground? Cannot be determined from the information given. How is the coefficient of friction calculated? How is the coefficient of friction calculated? It is the friction force divided by the normal force. Which of the following units do not describe pressure? lbf/in-3. What is the rotation speed of a synchronous motor with 4 poles run on 60 Hz? 1,800 rpm. What is the difference between mass and weight? Weight is a force, it takes gravity into account. If a cubic yard of sand weighs 1.5 US tons, how many 11x6x7-inch ammo boxes can be completely filled with 1 ton of sand? 67. What force is needed to accelerate a 7 kg scooter 4.2 m/s? 29.4 n. An 80-pound child is sitting on one end of a seesaw. If another 80-pound child jumps from a high platform onto the other end of the seesaw, what will happen? The first child will be lifted into the air, but remain seated. A roller coaster starts at rest at the top of a 51-meter high frictionless track. At the bottom of the track, what is the approximate speed of the roller coaster? 32 m/s. What is a vector quantity? Gravity. If at location A pure water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit and at location B the same water boils at 80 degrees Celsius, what can you deduce about the two locations? Location A is at sea level and location B is significantly higher. What are the units for the coefficient of friction? Unitless. If a wedge is made longer relative to its height, how does the force increase? The amount of lift is decreased as the wedge is moved horizontally. When torque increases, speed decreases. In a circuit, the current at a location is 4 amps and the voltage is 9 V. What is the power at this location of the circuit? 36 W. The well pictured above uses what type of simple machine to raise and lower a bucket? Wheel and axe. Identify the correct vector/scalar classification. Acceleration, vector. F/m equals. Acceleration. If a man uses 200 N of force over a distance of 50 meters, how many joules of work are performed? 10,000. How can a gear ratio be calculated? By comparing the number of teeth between the first and second gears. An object weighs 23 kilograms on Earth. What would the same object weigh on the Moon? 3.8 kilograms. At minimum, how many pulleys are there in a block and tackle system? 2. What is the density of a brownie? The shape of a cube weighing 15 grams measuring 5 centimeters on a side. 0.12 g/cm²3. What is a component of potential energy? Gravity's relationship to mass. If gear A turns counterclockwise, what other gears turn counterclockwise? C and D. A car is traveling at a velocity of 58 m/s. What is the velocity in mph? 130 miles per hour. A rope is tied to a tree 4.5 feet from the ground and then run through a pulley hooked to a vehicle 33 feet from the tree. If a person stands at the tree and pulls 10 feet of the rope, after all slack is taken up, how far will the vehicle move? 5 feet.